with you. I read for a while, but must have fallen asleep.
Maybe I should start sleeping in my own apartment, on my own.
No.
Then you would have your bed, and I would have mine. You would have your kids, and I would have mine. And everything would be exactly the way it was before we met at the Mandala, the symbol of completeness, where all paths lead to the center, the home of hope, health, and happiness.
You upset?
No. Yes, but that doesn't have anything to do with where we sleep, does it?
Are we doing the right thing?
Oh, I was sure until yesterday, and now I don't know.
What the hell's wrong with us being together?
Are you sure we should be doing what we're doing?
Is this our lives or their lives?
I don't know.
I hate confrontation.
Well, life is confrontation. Get over it.
You don't understand. You just don't understand. All I've ever wanted for my children was for them to be happy.
Well, they don't seem to be thrilled about you being happy.
Well, I don't see the joys of life coming from your kids either.
They'll come around. Just give them a little time.
At our age, there's no such thing as a little time.
You are not dying, and I'm not dying either. We just have a little age on us.
Well, what do we do next?
Nothing. You have been a good father.
Oh, Molly, I haven't always been good.
Nobody's perfect.
No, but you...
I'm not saying that you're perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody is perfect. But you have been a good father, and I've been a good mother. As good as we knew how to be.
You just don't know. You just don't know.
Well, then tell me, Warren, what is it you haven't told me? Warren?
And I'm not perfect. I told you already.
I'm not looking for perfect. I'm looking for joy and peace and comfort and friendship. I'm looking for someone to spend time with and someone who will respect me and treat me right. Someone who I could talk to. Oh, Warren, we've been able to talk to each other about our feelings and thoughts and things that we've done. Oh, that's so important. I thought that's what you wanted too.
I'm not perfect.
So,
I'm not perfect.
what are you trying to say?
I love my children. I tried to do as much as I could for them. I educated them. I sent them to camp. And we went to church every Sunday.
A lot of people do that.
Molly, how can I say this?
Say what?
Ruth and I had Bernice when we first got married. It wasn't until 20 years later that George came along. My business was taking off. Things were going well. One day a woman came into the gun shop. She wanted to buy a Derringer. She was a joker, blonde, 5'6", slender. She asked me a lot of questions. She didn't buy a gun that first day, but she came back 2 days later. She told me that she was afraid and she needed a gun. She was divorced and unhappy. Divorced and unhappy.
Are you saying that you had an affair with this blonde woman?
Not exactly.
What do you mean, not exactly?
Her name was Sandy. She just became a part of my life.
Part of your life?
She didn't want a commitment of any kind. She wanted a companion. I became her companion. Weekends and holidays when I could.
Companion.
Okay, we had a romantic relationship for 12 years.
You had a romantic relationship with this blonde woman for 12 years?
Yeah.
And Ruth never knew?
I finally told her. I told her about 10 years after the relationship ended.
It ended. Did you end it?
No, Sandy did. Permanently.
She ended it permanently.
But it wasn't voluntary. She died. It wasn't my fault.
What if she had did she take it?
She smiled.
She smiled.
I sat down on the edge of her bed. First, I said a prayer. Then I said, Ruth, I love you. We have 2 wonderful children, and you've been a wonderful wife. But there's something I need to tell you. I had an affair for 12 years, and I want you to know. Can you ever forgive me? And she looked at me, and she smiled.
She smiled when you told her.
She died about 2 weeks later.
You told an Alzheimer's patient.
I didn't have the guts before. So I've really never told anyone, except you.
This is not funny.
I've been living with guilt this whole time. I tried to make it up to Ruth and the kids. I bought a nice house, nice cars. I gave them all as much support as I knew how. I became really active in the church.
Guilty people do that.
Molly, I'll understand if you don't want me anymore. I'm far from perfect. Ever since Sandy died, I've tried to become a better person. I worked harder and I did more for the grandchildren and my wife, but the horrible stain was still there. The problem was, I really loved Sandy, but she didn't want a commitment. She was content with our relationship the way it was.
Well, am I your next Sandy or your next Ruth?
I stayed with Sandy because I wasn't really happy with Ruth. I don't know why I told you. Maybe because it seems like to me you are both of them. You're what I was always looking for. Can you ever forgive me?
Forgive you? For what? The only thing you've ever done to me is be truthful.
You don't hate me?
Of course I don't hate you.
Thank you. I feel like a dark cloud's been lifted. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Molly. It's all right. It's not you.
Warren, I have my own skeleton.
You don't have to tell me. But you can. If you want to.
I think I do. Coffee?
I think I'd better.
My father traveled a lot. My mother was a real disciplinarian. She should have been a nun. She raised me for the most part. We went to Mass every day. We went to confession. She didn't even let me date until I was 16, and then she waited up for me.
Whatever it is, it's okay.
One day my mother met this young man at St. Mark's, and she would ask him over to dinner every now and again, and he was older than I, but he was nice. His name was Frank.
The Frank you married?
The very same.
You had an arranged marriage.
You could say, but, oh, there was this other guy. Oh, his name was Robert Turner. He was tall and handsome and had a full head of thick curly red hair. Oh, he was the quarterback at St. Mark's football team. We both went to St. Mark's. We were seniors. Oh, we ate lunch together most every day, and we would talk in the halls. Oh, he was my soulmate. But my mother didn't like him at all. She thought that his parents were in the same social set that she was in. Some nights, he would throw things at my window, and I would lean out, and we would talk quietly. One night, he asked me to sneak out with him and go in his car. I I remember we parked on the old gravel road by the cemetery. And then it happened. And I saw him again, and then again, and again. And then my period was late and I was scared. I had to tell my mother. I mean, how can you hide something like that? So I told my mother. And then I told her it was Robert. She was enraged. She said, "You will not marry that little SOB." That's exactly what she said. She said, "The one you need to marry is Frank, and Frank is the one you will marry." She said she wouldn't tell my father. It would kill him. Warren, believe it or not, my mother told me to have sex with Frank.
So he would think it was his child.
Exactly. And I did. I shouldn't have, but I did. What was I thinking? I have no backbone whatsoever. A month later, we had a small wedding. And then 7 months later, I had a premature baby. I named her Mary. I never told Frank. On some level, I think he knew. I do think he knew. I've never told Mary. 10 years later, Esther came along, a little later in life. Surprise.
I know what that's like.
Yeah, you do.
What happened to Robert?
I never saw him again. A friend of mine told me that he died about 5 years ago of diabetes. Mary has diabetes. Oh, Warren, I haven't told a soul this story ever.
Not even the priest?
Oh, God, no.
I don't think I can tell anyone either. That makes us soulmates, doesn't it?
I think it does.
You can't even tell Mary?
Oh, no one must know but us.
I feel better now that we've discussed it. Do you?
I think I do.
I wasn't honest with myself. Sandy was just someone I found joy with in the middle of my miserable marriage.
Oh, I should have told Frank.
What good would that have done?
My mother forced me into that marriage, and my father didn't protect me. Maybe he didn't know. I was such a wimp.
And Sandy, I was a wimp too. Why did I hang on to something so shallow? Why did Ruth put up with it? She was probably glad I wasn't around.
We have got to stop beating ourselves up.
I'll vote for that.
Would you like to work on the waltz some more?
Sure. I think it's easier than some of the other dances. I think I'm doing pretty well.
It's my favorite dance step. Can you just imagine back in the day with the beautiful, magnificent gowns and tuxedos?
And shoes. They usually put shoes on when they dance. May I have this waltz?
Hopefully for the rest of our lives.
be the way the good Lord planned it.
I'm pretty worried about my mom.
Because she wants to marry my dad.
Your dad seems like a nice man. I just don't think that my mom should marry anybody. They should just be friends.
You know, he's 67 years old.
I know. He doesn't want to have a lasting relationship without getting married. Her too. I mean, what would their grandchildren think?
It's strange, two people wanting to get married and being worried about what the grandchildren think. I'm gonna get some more coffee. Would you like some?
Sure.
You know, I've been thinking, why should I interfere with their marriage? I don't know about you, but mine was pretty miserable. Is that allowed to be okay?
That's what I always ordered.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm hoping that you and I can make some sense out of all this. Mary and Bernie, they're both so rigid. There must be some good side to this, but
Not in their minds.
what does either of them know about being happily married?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. At least Mary doesn't. I can't really speak for Bernice.
Same with Bernie. So, have you ever been married?
No. The last guy that had asked me was a complete and total jerk. What about you?
I got married young, but we really couldn't stand each other after the first couple years. It was tough, but we were a lot better off after the divorce. Then I was alone for a while, and then I met a nice woman. But we discovered that we had different value systems.
So she was Catholic.
That wasn't the problem. She attended the Catholic Church, but I don't think she was really a Catholic.
So what do you do?
Oh, I took over my dad's gun shop and shooting range.
Really?
It's been a really good business. Most of my customers, they hunt birds, so they spend a lot